Hello and welcome to playing Gunlance really hungover. Like, seriously, I'm suffering here, but this is what people demand. Now, first things first, despite the fact that the build I'm going to recommend, I've not been able to completely outfit it on what I'm currently using because I don't have enough to do the health augment because of all the chopping and changing I've had to do, along with trying to smash out these builds as much as possible with a full-time job. Videos, wife, cats, sleep, alcohol abuse, etc, etc. So, the main reason I've left Gunlance and then Bow, which should be up next and pretty soon, is because they have seen some huge changes where with most melee it's basically 3-piece TO, 2-piece Bracky to get the Agitator secret, and when the monster gets angry, watch your damage shoot up dramatically. So yeah, I've left these till last because they have some huge changes, mainly Gunlance, but still. Now, we're going to go into the pre-Bracky meta quickly, just in case you're unable to get to Bracky, because he is stupid. But the main reason Bracky is basically OP for Gunlance is 1, Agitator secret, and 2, Artillery secret. No more Zora. Yay! So this basically also does mean that we're running 5-piece Bracky. So let's get stuck in with normal. Safi, Bind Buster or Shatter Buster. I like Bind Buster simply because it stops monsters from moving. Attack, Affinity, Element, and Expert Duel 4. Sharpness, Affinity, Attack, Normal Shedding 2, and then Zora, Magdaros, Awakening. Safi Helmet with Challenger, Artillery, Zora Hide with Resentment Expert, Safi Gloves with Challenger 4, Tenderizer, Zora Spine with Tenderizer Magazine, Safi Boots with Resentment 4, Critical Expert, and the Razor Sharp Charm. You might notice that this is 20% over, or 22% over the affinity cap. That is to stop you tenderizing or having to tenderize, because for some odd reason that the beast that is Gunlance has been made a 2 tenderizing weak point weapon, so you need to do it twice to get the full buff. That's fine. However, I don't mind doing that, so this is what I have come up with, which is basically the same set of armors, just a different move around on the decos, but you will notice that it is a considerable jump in total EFR. So again, I'm showing the Bind Buster, Challenger 4 Deco, Attack, Affinity, Element, Sharpness, Affinity, Attack, Normal, and then Zora for the Awakenings, Safi Helmet with Resentment, Artillery, Zora Hide with Critical Attack, Safi Gloves with Resentment, Tenderizer, Zora Spine with Tenderizer Magazine, Safi Boots with Attack, Resentment, Attack, and don't forget your Razor Sharp Charm. This will require you having to do your 2 tenderizes, which I personally don't have a problem with. Some people might. You now have the choice of both. Congratulations. And then there's Bracky. Yeah, get farming. Again, I am using the Bind Buster because paralysis stops things from moving. Yes, the damage output from Shatter Buster is potentially more worthwhile, but hey, we all have our own playstyles and quirks. So, Safi Bind Buster, don't forget to farm more Safi because you might notice the Awakenings have changed yet again. This is what has screwed me over. Attack Deco, level 4, and then you want an attack and a health augment if you can fit it in. I'd recommend going for the health before the attack and don't mong it like I did. Sharpness level 6, Shelling normal 2, attack 5 are your awakenings. Now Raging Bracky Beta Helmet with Expert, both level 4, and then one more Expert Duel 1. Raging Bracky Alpha with Critical Attack, Raging Bracky Alpha Gloves with Critical, Raging Bracky Alpha Waist with Magazine, and then Raging Bracky Beta Boots with Expert Attack. We're still rocking that Razor Sharp Charm. Now, in comparison to the previous build that I showed you that will require you to weaken the points, it's not too much of a jump. However, it's a lot more comfortable, and you're basically just farming one monster. You 5-piece Bracky. What more do you want? You got Artillery secret, Agitator secret, Weakness exploit, Blast attack, Critical eye, Attack boost, Critical boost, capacity, but it's literally just such a comfortable, well-rounded and neat set to use for Gunlance, which is why I've waited till now, because it's just basically made any other Gunlance that you could have possibly fathomed redundant. And to be perfectly honest, even if you're not into the meta, just put 5-piece Raging Bracky with beta, alpha, 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 beta, razor sharp charm, and from there the set will just take care of itself and just do what you want with it. It is just that good. Then onto the wide. This was the pre-meta for Safi. So we had Safi Shatterbuster with a Challenger, Attack, Affinity and Element, Zora Essence, Shelling wide, Sharpness 6, Attack 5, Attack 5, Safi Helmet with Resentment, Artillery, Zora Hide with Resentment, Expert, Safi Gloves with Challenger, Tenderizer, Zora Spine with Tenderizer Magazine, and Safi Boots with Resentment, Critical, Expert. Still rocking that Razor Sharp Charm. This is what I personally ran. You will potentially notice it is a grand total of 3 EFR lower than the meta. However, we are missing 5% affinity, which personally I can deal with because you've got a 95% chance to crit and your shells don't matter. It is just a complete rearrange of decos. Augments and Awakening stay the same. We're just running Challenger 4, Resentment 4, Artillery, Critical 2, Attack, Resentment 4, Tenderizer, Magazine, Attack, Resentment, Attack. Basically, I've put a lot more into Resentment and making more and greater use out of that Safi'Jiiva health debuff, buff, however you want to look at it. Debuff in health, but buff in terms of damage. And the main reason I've gone with this is I'm aware not everyone's going to be doing this, but I typically run with a Hunting Horn player. So when they give me that affinity up large, you might notice now I have a considerable amount more EFR, simply because that 5% I'm missing now means nothing, and I just do so much more damage. Or you're just compensating for that 5%. So that's entirely up to you, or just bring your Cat Palico with the Choral Orchestra. Problem solved. You do more damage. But they both pale in comparison to this bloody thing. Literally about 10% more damage. Who's not going to love that? So, Lightbreak Gunlance with an Iron Wall attack and a magazine. You want an affinity, health and elemental augment. Bracky Beta Helmet with Expert 4, and then an Expert. Raging Bracky Alpha with critical attack, Raging Bracky Alpha with critical, Raging Bracky Alpha with Phoenix Jewel 3, and then Raging Bracky Beta with Expert attack, and then Razor Sharp Charm. Now the reason I've gone with Phoenix here, and you can see that this actually beats the meta, use this is because due to the nature of Wide Gunlance, you're this walking bastion of death, really. So I find myself on the fire quite a lot, but I try and move around as well. So Coalescence is active a lot and more damage. In the meantime, have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health. So are hangovers. Ugh.